Now, the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament is pushing for stricter measures to help deal with increase in financial infractions captured in the Auditor General's report. Financial mismanagement amongst government institutions have seen a jump last year, especially payroll fraud, which has seen a 300% jump from 14 million cedis in 2023 to 58 million cedis in 2024. We'll look at the figures shortly, but first, here's a wrap of what transpired at the committee sitting on Monday, where the Deputy Minister for Finance, Thomas Ampeminyako, revealed that a staff at the Controller and Accountant General's office is currently under investigations for a related offence.
The matter about non-payment of some government workers, especially teachers, due to non-validation came up at the Public Accounts Committee, where Chairperson Abina Osasari raised concerns about how the phenomenon has become a bargaining or punishing tool for some superiors in the educational sector.
Sometimes it's a genuine mistake from the validators, and sometimes too, it is a way of some of the heads showing teachers where the power lies. And it's very, very painful. Since Friday, we've had a lot of these reports. It's very painful.
This is the Controller and Accountant General, Ghc's initial response.
Because they validate, they are in the district, they are in their offices, and they will determine that this amount of people deserve to be paid. So if for one reason or the other, they don't validate you, then it's the same process, it's the same validators and institutions that have to go through the process to validate you for us to pay you. We cannot, as controller, pay you if the validators haven't validated you. So these are some of the challenges that
when they bring.
It was on the back of this that the Deputy Finance Minister, Thomas Ampeminyako, made the revelation that the staff at the Controller's office is currently under investigation over a similar incident.
There was one that went viral recently about someone who complained that I think a teacher also name was taken off the payroll. Somebody assisted him to get it on, and the person was demanding a lot of money from him. Because he did not pay, they went ahead and removed his name from the payroll. We have taken serious view of this, and it is being investigated. Fortunately, Controller knows the person in the Controller office who activated, who deactivated, but a lot more information need to come out for us to know what really went on and for the appropriate punishment to be meted out. And so the Finance Minister takes serious views to some of these things, and he's asked that we have an in-depth investigation into it. We will apprise the general public of whatever the outcome is.
On the part of the Finance Ministry, they have been referred to the Attorney General for prosecution over procurement breaches. According to the Auditor General's report, the ministry awarded 3 separate contracts worth 1.3 million Ghana cedis to 2 hotels to provide services during the drawing of the 2024 budget without approval from the Public Procurement Authority. When Ghana Revenue Authority appeared before the committee, the ranking member, Samuel Atamels, asked that the authority furnish the committee with a full list of all debtors who owe millions of cedis in tax and how much has been collected so far. The GRA boss, Anthony Kwesi-Sapon, says they have collected a chunk of the debt and will explore every avenue to collect the rest.
On the whole, we assure the committee that we are taking strides and taking all the actions to recover all the amounts that taxpayers owe. And as you may witness from our engagement with the committee, we have done tremendous effort in terms of the report that we presented to them, achieving greater strides in recovering the taxes, and we also assure that the remaining amounts will continue to work with taxpayers and collect it, ultimately to collect the revenue for national development and in support of the President's vision of resetting and building this nation.
Although the committee was originally scheduled to end this session on Wednesday, August 27, it has ended this Monday. Adjourning to September 29, it is unclear what the reason is. James Sabeji, Parliament House, Accra.
And James Saveji joins me via Zoom with details of the infractions captured in the 2024 report. Thank you so much for joining us, James. How grave are these infractions?
Well, Noella, quite serious if you look at the Auditor General's report summary of all of the irregularities captured in there. Although generally between 2023 and 2024, the total irregularities decreased by some 14.6%. Others increased for up to 2,445%. For instance, if you take taxi regularities, it's decreased by 26.7%. Cash irregularities increased by 101. Debt and loans by some 739. Then the payroll in question increased from 14.5 million cedis to 57.8 million cedis, representing some over 300% increment. And so for procurement, for instance, it has increased by some 2,445%. And so if you look at it, it looks like if you monitor the trend, the irregularities keep increasing year after year, despite the efforts put in by the Public Accounts Committee to deal with some of these issues, Noella.
Now, James, in the past, the committee took some steps by referring cases to the AG's department for prosecution. Do we know the latest on that?
Well, as at the last sitting before this year, in the last parliament, it came to bear that for all the cases that, especially procurement cases that the Public Accounts Committee forwarded to the auditor, to the Attorney General's office, none has been forwarded to the office. And so that was the latest as at last year. This year, I did some checks this morning, and it is unclear whether this government or this new Attorney General, Dominic Ayine, had come to meet some of those issues that have been forwarded. But the AG was scheduled to meet the Public Accounts Committee at this session before the sitting was adjourned with no reasons given yet. But we expect that the Attorney General will appear before the committee somewhere in September ending in order to give us an update as to whether or not those issues have been forwarded and what actions have been taken on them so far.
Good job, James, and thank you so much for speaking to us. Now, we can now hear from MP for Pando and a member of the Public Accounts Committee, Sebastian Fred Dare, who says improving the validation process is essential to deal with the menace.
At the core of it is dishonesty on the part of staff and duty bearers that were assigned responsibilities to be in charge of this activity. Like a case was cited where somebody, an able-bodied person, for 36 months, this person was receiving allowances pertaining to disability. And definitely, it would have been stated on the payroll the kind of allowances that he was being paid, including the one that relates to disability. But that person for 36 months took it.
How do we resolve this?
I think that stringent measures, procedures, controls need to be put in place to prevent such things from occurring. This whole issue of this animal called validation, how on earth can it be that we, in the age of computers, in the age of technology, we are unable to put in correct measures, correct procedure, correct, adequate measures, backed by technology that will ensure that if somebody is at post and that person, that human being is validated, it's one activity and that's it. So that issue of validation needs to be tackled, or it needs to be, handled once and for all, such that once we say we are validating somebody, the biometrics and everything that is required for we to know that Mr. A or Madam B is the person at post and therefore being paid from the state purse, that needs to be done and backed by technology.